Welcome back, folks, to the Lighthead online video show. This is a special Hot Blast release on the new news from the DOE. But before we get into it, we got to tell you that this episode of the show is brought to you by Keystone Technologies. Go to KEYSTONETECH.com, baby. That's KeystoneTech.com. Hey, Greg, I heard you were out with Josh last night, actually, from Keystone.
I was. I'm still waking up. He's in town right now in Minneapolis, so was out with him last night for a bit.
Selling light bulbs to all your competitors, I bet.
You better not be.
I think you guys were talking. You guys were talking about Nailed and our new membership drive for 2020 starting. It's tough organization to get into, though. We're pretty demanding. So go to nailed.org as well. Right. But you saw this about the relaxation of the efficiency rules for light bulbs. Now you're a light bulb dork. What do you think of it? Before I tell you what I think.
The relaxation of it. So I guess what it comes down to is kind of a bigger picture. Is how much government involvement should there be in their decision to have a light bulb? And the question to me looks like, are people smart enough to make good decisions, or do we need to tell them this is what a good decision is? And to me, I get why they did it. I get why they have the policy in place, but does it need to be a policy? I don't think so. I think it's at a point now where it just makes sense to do. So why require it? People are going to do it regardless for the most part. There might be certain people that don't, but let them have a choice. Let them figure out what they want to do.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that, 100%. And as the host of the Get a Grip on Lighting podcast, we are in a unique position that we have had a chance to talk to so many scientists and so many people about lighting. No?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
sure.
I wouldn't call us experts in anything, but I would say in terms of the broad stroke of knowledge of science in the lighting industry, we have definitely had the honor of being able to speak to people that are true scientists, true professionals, people that know a lot about lighting. And you know what they all have in common, Greg?
What's that?
A heck of a lot of humility.
Yeah, you're right.
And you know what? They don't come out and say anything like, I know everything. Here's what everybody should do. The only people that act like that are people in ivory towers who are politically motivated and think if only people weren't so resistant to change, if all these idiot Americans out there would just change their damn light bulbs, we'd solve our climate change problems. But you know what? It's these people. I'm so sick of that position, dude. I'm very, very sick of that position. And I really wish, as a lighting distributor, and this is what Nailed is going to be about, the National Association of Innovative Lighting Distributors, we are going to be about bringing that argument to the table. We're going to say, why don't you ask people who sell light bulbs to people every day what they think? Because if you ask somebody who sells light bulbs every day, regardless of their political stripe, they're going to be of our opinion. Like, what are you talking about? You're going to make all halogen bulbs, inefficient halogen bulbs. You know what? There's some applications where halogen bulbs actually way outperform any other lamps.
In terms of appearance and things like that, or are you talking lumens?
Dimming.
Light up, but dimming. Yeah, you're right.
Dimming. Color temperature, dim to warm. And remember, we just had, I don't know if Zimmerman's right or wrong about his assertion, but I definitely think that what we've learned about light is that there's a huge spectrum of light, some of which is visible and some of which is invisible. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that maybe the invisible spectrum is actually super important too. And we know that incandescent creates part of that invisible spectrum. We know that halogen creates a part of that invisible spectrum. And we know that LED doesn't. Is that good? Is it bad? Guess what? These wonks and these policy wonks, these politically motivated people that want to tell everybody what light bulbs they should use, I got news for you. We're not going to efficiency our way out of climate change problems. What we need is clean energy, so that people can use as much of it as they want and use it any way they want. Okay? Whether that's cruising Facebook, Playing video games. You know what? Why don't you just stop everyone from playing video games then? That would save tons of energy, Greg. Why don't you tell Americans to stop watching football? That would save a ton of energy. Right? Stop watching football. Right? Where are we going with this stupid efficiency stuff? Okay, I believe in energy efficiency. I sell LEDs to people every day. I talk to them about selling LEDs every day. But this broad stroke, what we need to do is make incandescent bulbs illegal. They have no idea about the unintended consequences of doing that. There's tons of fixtures with it. Go ahead. I'm blabbing on.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We just had on our podcast, we had somebody that came in and said that incandescent lights are good for you from a health standpoint.
Yes.
So now we hear that. Then we hear that we want energy efficiency. So what we know is that we don't know anything.
Exactly.
So how can you come out and say this is what it's got to be? Because we don't know anything. We don't know. We know it's more efficient, but is it better for us? At this point, there's more arguments that it's not, that it's worse for us, LED lighting and energy efficient lighting. So what's the answer?
I have had no scientists come on my show, on our show. Sorry, my show. It's our show. I've had no scientists come on this show and say to me, incandescent lights are bad for you. Never happened. Never happened. Okay? I've had half a dozen scientists come on the show, not the Light 10 online video show, but say that, oh yeah, LED lighting is bad for wildlife. It's bad for glare. It's bad for light pollution at night. It flickers on and off and causes problems. Maybe it doesn't have the spectrum that we need that does some internal healing. Oh yeah, and guess what? People are using incandescent lighting, high intensity, high infrared, or whatever the hell it is, to treat all kinds of diseases, including depression, anxiety. What the heck is going on here? And the government's going to say to you, yeah, if you guys would just change all your light bulbs. Guess what? When the naked apes, okay, or furry apes too, guess what? Chimpanzees too. When we see the obvious benefits of change, okay, humans will change with extreme swiftness. Okay? The only reason that humans don't change is because the benefits are not obvious. And oftentimes, we look at this change and say, there's some other motivation cloaked. So resistance to change is actually a huge sign of intelligence. It's not the opposite. It's a sign of intelligence. So when people don't want to do whatever White Tower policy wonk wants them to do, when people don't want to do what some guy in some office in Washington says, everybody needs to change this, I know all the answers. You know what? People are immediately suspect of that guy or that person. You know why? Because they should be.
Yes, you're right.
They should be. Because that's a politically motivated load of crap. And they always want to put it, and I'm a Canadian, right? So you look at this stuff, it always has to start with Trump or Obama or Obamacare or Trump. It's like they got to associate everything into some tribal badge that they slap on it. Light bulbs is not a political issue, okay?
It shouldn't be, but it is, as we see here. They're making it a political issue.
Yes, okay? Yeah. And like all these, I have all LED lights in my house. Half the people that think they have LED lights don't. That's one of the hilarious parts of it. And I bet you if you went back to this guy's article in the New York Times, John Schwartz, I bet you if you went to his house, you'd see about 50% incandescent and halogen in his house. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh yeah, no, those are an LED. No, dude, that's not an LED light bulb. Sorry, bud. No. How do you know? Yeah. Why don't you ask me before you make stupid policy decisions? Why don't you ask people that actually know a hell of a lot about light bulbs, like the members of the National Association of Innovative Lighting Distributors?
What do we do all day? We sell light bulbs. Ask us. Talk to us. We'll help you figure this thing out.
And that's where the National Association of Innovative Lighting Distributors is going in the next 5 years, folks. We're going to march on Washington. This episode of the Light Ed online video show has been brought to you by Keystone Technologies. Go to KEYSTONETECH.com, Greg. KeystoneTech.com. I hope Josh bought you dinner.
He did. Thanks, Josh.
Thanks for listening.